the Alamogordo boys and girls track and field head coach Jason Atkinson. Coach, how you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having us in here. Appreciate it.
Happy to have you here. And if I'll go ahead and let you, if you want to introduce this group that you got here with us. So you brought a couple of kids from both the girls and the boys track teams.
Yeah, I'll just start on the far end. Then we got Seth Torres. He's a senior. He'll be doing some jumps and sprints for us. So he's well experienced at the state level as well. Then we have Riley next to him. He was a state champion last year and in the discus. And we expect actually for him to score. Well, the truth is we expect him to win the discus again. And he, I think, has that expectation. And then we also are expecting him to score on the shot put as well. And then next to him we have Cierra. And she was a qualifier in both last year, right? Shot and discus. And then be placed in both?
Yeah, third and fourth.
Third and fourth. And then so this year, she didn't do basketball. She actually came from volleyball. Then to track, so she's had a couple more months of focused track and field training, which is I think is going to be huge for her. And then we have the young one of the group in Claire. She is coming up from she ran a chaparral last year, came up at the end of the season at the varsity level, and even helped Coach Wolf, former coach, with some relays at the varsity level. And I think she's going to be a huge impact. And we're going to try to get her hurdle this year. Because she has a build of a hurdler, and she's going to be huge in her relays and the high jump as well.
Well, let's first talk about the fact you are taking over the girls program. You've done how many years have you ran the boys program now? Is this 6 or 7?
This will be number 8 or 9. It's my 12th or 13th overall. Working with Coach Brian as just a distance coach before, for maybe four-ish years, and then I took over for him in 2008. So it's my 8th year, I guess, and then 12th year overall.
What is the challenge of running both programs now? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you're going to have to lean a lot on assistant coaches and to help you out with that, but is it going to be that big of a transition, you feel like? It
hasn't been so far. It's actually been really smooth. We all met, the whole coaches met, before the season started, and we had a plan. We didn't know if it'd go as it has, but so far the organization is the biggest challenge, but so far the organization has been really good. I'm out there every day 4 hours for practice, because basically it's about 2 for girls, 2 for guys. But all the other coaches come in at different intervals, and the organization has been good so far. But that's also credit to the kids, because if they were not committed to it and they want to allow themselves to be sloppy, it'd be a mess, because I'd have constantly trying to say, come on, let's be focused. We don't have that problem. So the organization was a challenge, but so far it's come off good. We'll have to make little changes along the way, but it's actually been really good.
All right. Well, and I'll start over here with Seth. Track and field's one of those interesting sports where, a lot of it depends on you. You've got to have the push and the desire to go out there and do what you need to do. Is that important that you have the personal responsibility to go out there and perform the way that you want to, especially in practice?
Yes. As an athlete, you have to be very responsible. It's not just about yourself, but in track, you have to run for the guy next to you. You're running for the team. You got to push yourself to be the best that you can, so you can do the best for yourself and for your team.
Yeah, and Riley, I'd ask you the same thing. I know that's, especially during the off season heading into the new year, it's big about what you need to focus on, and obviously Coach Atkinson and the rest of the coaches help you out with certain things, but is it more about you having the focus on what you need to do?
Definitely. It all comes down to how you perform on that day, and that's whether or not you score points for the team. And Coach always sets us up for a good position to score points for the team, and it just comes down to you performing at his level and his expectation, and you'll succeed if you put in the work.
Sierra, he talked a little bit about the fact of you not doing basketball this year. Did that help you maybe get ready for the season a little easier for track and field this year to be able to work on that during the wintertime instead of playing basketball?
Definitely. I definitely got a lot more weightlifting in, so I'm definitely coming to this season more prepared than I have in previous years.
So you feel pretty good about your technique and everything going into this season?
Yeah, I'm very excited for the season.
All right. And Claire, Coach talked about you making the transition up to varsity late last year, and so you're a freshman this year, right, Claire?
Yeah.
And being one of the young ones on the team, but of course, Coach having that kind of expectations for you to do well this year. Are you ready for that? Are you excited for that?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be able to push me a lot harder than I was last year. He has more experience, I guess.
Yeah. So you're ready to go. Do you feel maybe a little bit more prepared this year going into than last year. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. This program is, honestly, I talk about it all the time, especially for the boys, but girls as well. In terms of district championships and competing at the state level, this group has high expectations, and I get the feeling that you expect them to do well every single season. How do you feel like this group is able to meet those expectations most seasons? Because it seems like you guys are, number one, you get a ton of kids qualified, and number two, you guys are very competitive at the state level too.
Well, this year is, speaking on the girls' side, I mean, this first meet within 2 weeks from yesterday will tell me a lot. I know most of the girls knew who they were, just because we're at the same meets last year, but I paid attention to them, but my focus was the guys' team, so I know bits and pieces, and I kind of have an idea of where I think our strengths will be on their team. And the guys' team, obviously, I know. Just a little bit better right now. By the end of the second meet, I'll know exactly what the girls and the expectations will be very high for them as well. But I'll know exactly the spots where we need to improve and the spots where I think and I expect us to score at the state meet. And it's funny. We're Coach Sepulveda, who is the kind of the legend around here. He and I were out at the new track facility, and yesterday, in fact, he brought his son along. Who was coach at SMU in Oklahoma State for many years. So we were all talking about track for a while, and we were just walking around out there. And, I just feel, me personally, I put a lot of pride in this because of what he's done as well. And I tell the kids all the time, this is something special that we have. There's very few schools in the state in any sport that have this type of tradition. And we even talked about in the Tiger Pit, we have our track district championships. I only went back to like 85 because that's all I knew. But we talked more, and I think we only won once. We only lost once since 71, from like 71 to 85. So if you go back the last 60 years on the guys' side, we've maybe lost district 5 times. I think we're maybe like 55 out of 60 times we've won district in the last 60 years. And it's just something, when you step into the program, that's the expectation, and success breeds success. And I think that's a simple explanation you can come up with. And I try to instill that. I try to have old pictures in the not locker room, but the track office. There's old pictures of different state championships from the guys in the 90s, 80s, and I think I'm a kind of a connection, from not too old, but I have that good balance between this younger group and the connection of what it was, winning those 4 state championships in a row, and being a part of that as an athlete. So, yeah, it's, I think that we have a good connection. And a lot of our coaches were all part of that. Coach Fambro was part of that, Coach Hayes. It's just something special and it started many years ago. And I feel we have to continue it.
Yeah. Well, and Riley, you're a part of that particular heritage at this point now by winning an individual state championship last year. How important is it to you, not only as winning your events, but as a part of a team to keep that tradition going?
I think it puts a bigger target on our backs now that we have people that have won, or that we have that one state. And so people are going to be like, okay, these Alamogordo guys are for real. And some people are going to step up the games, other people are going to lay down on their back and take it. But I think it's going to be a challenge this year, but it's definitely doable with the intensity with our workout programs. There's not a question in my mind that we're going to win district again, and we're going to perform at state.
You won discus last year, and you broke the school record in discus last year, didn't you?
Not yet.
Just came up a little bit short.
About 20 feet.
20 feet.
Exactly 20 feet.
See, I was going to say, you know exactly what that number is, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And shot put is obviously something you're trying to get a little bit better on and be able to compete at the state level for that?
Yes.
Yeah. Where do you feel like you're at? Obviously discus, you feel like you should be able to defend your state championship this year. How about shot put? Where do you feel like how much improvement do you need to have by the time state rolls around in May?
I'll need approximately about 6 to 8 feet of improvement. But I've already cut that number in half last practice. I was just about a foot and a half off of qualifying for state. And day 1 of practice, Coach Atkinson came over and he said, "All right, Riley, here's what I see you doing in shot put, and this is the expectation." And okay, I'm going to get it.
And to be, I mean, we've seen over the last couple years or number of years that the best throwers in the state have been able to win both events, the discus and the shot put. I'm sure that's got to be one of your big goals, to be able to hit that mark that those guys have been able to do.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, Seth. Running a lot of the distances, 1, 2, and 400. First off, what do you feel like is your most comfortable distance going into the season?
This season, I'm focusing on the 200. I feel it's a good balance between the 100 and the 400, and I'm looking to qualify in that this year, and to do well in the relays as well, because those count a lot during state, and those are very important.
How do you feel like the relay group is coming along? Do you guys think that you got some strong relays this season?
Yes, this season I feel we have a lot of depth and a lot of potential in our group this year, especially the sprinters. We're all up there at practice, and we're all working hard, and I can see a bright future for us in state.
All right, very good. Cierra, we talked a little bit about both discus and shot put for you. Those are the two events you'll be competing in this season?
Yes, sir.
Where do you feel like you are compared? You talked about more strength. I mean, in terms of your distance, I mean, do you think that you can compete for a state championship this year in those events?
Definitely. My goal is this year is trying to win discus and shot put at state. Cause I got pretty close last year, but I feel like I can really get it this year.
How much more distance have you been able to put on between last year and this year? Do you feel like you've gained some in both events?
Yeah, I'd say I've gotten about 2 feet in shot and 10 to 15 feet in discus.
And how much more do you feel like you need to get to by the end of the season, or what's the goal for you so far?
I would like to hit 45 in shot. My PR right now is 41. And in disc, I would like to hit 130, so I'm about 10 feet off from that goal too.
Claire, now what events exactly are you going to be running this year?
I'm not sure. I think I'm going to do 1, 2, and 400.
Okay.
And then hurdles and high jump and some relays. Yeah.
Oh. Do you have a particular event that you enjoy more than the others, or you're just happy to be out there running?
I really enjoy the 200. I'm just better at it, I guess. Yeah.
And how about Coach said he wanted to start getting you involved in hurdling, and is that a new challenge for you?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Well, basically, if you look at her hip height, she can almost just step over the 300 girls' height. I mean, literally, can just doesn't really have to hurdle. So, the girls' 300 hurdle height is pretty low. They even had topics about raising that height because it is quite for an athlete like Claire. Truthfully, it's not even really much hurdling, to be honest with you. So. Yeah, that's why we say she has a great build for it, But yeah, she'll be huge. I mean, I train all our sprinters to be able to run 400 meters. So if I ask them to meet, if something happens to one of the 4x4 athletes, they're expected that they can step up and do that event and complete it with being aggressive and having a good pattern to the race as well. So she'll be all from 4x1 to 100 all the way up to 400, any relay in between. So it's nice to have that. Seth is similar to that. I can put him in any of those, and it's nice to have that variety, athletes with those varieties.
Well, and something we were talking before we went on the air about just the amount of kids that you have on this team. So we've got 4 great kids in here that are going to be competing this year. But who are some of the other athletes just off the top of your head that are going to be big? We'll start with the girls' side. I know we talked about hurdles. Allie Adams should be
sure. Yeah, I mean, we. It's nice to have Allie because, she does have the experience, and then we have a younger athlete who's going to try him, and it's nice to have that environment where there is a good hurdling group. So obviously, and she doesn't quite believe me yet, but she's going to be big on relays. We're going to need her. So she's going to have to step up. It's not just about hurdling, because the better sprinter you are, the better hurdler you are. The girls' side, Chris and Archuleta, obviously she was returning state champion last year in the javelin. Kayla Tejas also I'm expecting her to step up. I know she's had some seasons where she's done well, but she's had a little tweak and injuries. So the goal is to get through a whole season for her, and I expect her to be at a top level. Ayana Harper as well. Last year she was a state qualifier in 1 and 2. I believe she made finals in 1 and 200.
And she was just a freshman last year, right?
She's just a freshman. Was she 8th grader? No, I think she was just an 8th grader.
Wow, was she just...
Was
Ayana?
No, she was a freshman.
She was a freshman.
Okay.
So, so obviously she'll be, do you imagine those 3 and possibly Allie in a 4x1. So you see the girls 4x1 relays and 4x2 is going to be very tough as well. And then I really look at Cheyenne Drake and Kyla Fugate and Ansley Battle. Those are our 3 top distance girls. They're going to be really tough. They're all 3 young, and the expectation's high for them as well. So
and it helps for them coming out across country too.
Yeah, of course. If you're going to run anything a mile and above, you definitely need that cycle all season long. So yeah, those a few of the girls that for sure will have an impact on the season. So.
And how about the boys' side of things? I mean, we've got Riley and Seth here, but I know
Yeah,
you've got a heck of a group of young athletes there.
Yeah, we have been building a very strong team. I have an idea where we can place, but those 2 days at state are pretty intense. So it depends on how the kids respond. But I think we have a top 5 team, and I think the girls are really going to surprise as well. But on the guys' side, we have the 3 high jumpers returning. They all qualified last year: Cameron, Bickham, D. Smith, and then Carlton Bartley. So those 3 guys all qualified last year. Carlton is runner-up, so those return. Shamar, he had an ACL injury in the summer, but we're only going to run him this year. He's not going to jump because we want him to just have confidence and not worry about re-injuring that knee in the triple jump. It's a lot of stress on the. And we have Alex Alton in the hurdles, Michael Robinson in the hurdles. Michael's this qualifier, and Jared Sessions. Those 2 qualified in 110 finals last year. So our hurdle group is very strong as well. We have 2 juniors that should be a 158 and 800. That's just huge to score. That can get us a point or 2 in the open and anchor our medley very strong as well. So that's Jason Ald and Trenton Tapley on soccer. Trenton played soccer as well. So there's some of the athletes that we expect to have a big season for us. I mean, we have a team. We have developed a good team, and I have an idea where we should finish. I've already done the points, kind of crazy already, on both sides, in fact, and I've come up with the point total and shared it with coaches, and whether or not that happens, there's so much time in between, but it's fun for me to do because
there's a lot of strategy that's based in it to get things set
up
correctly.
There's more than what you think. You also have to try and guess what other teams do sometimes. Unless you're that strong, it doesn't matter. You can just put whoever you want where you want, and that's very, very rare. You have to be pretty smart about it, and sometimes you can outthink yourself. And we try not to do that, and that's why I have my assistants look at me and say, "Coach, that's not a good idea." And because I usually come up with all that plan, and then I say, "Okay, guys, this is what I have," and then usually it's good, but then some of it's like, maybe we need to try that. So, no, I'm excited. It's a lot of hard work on both teams, a lot of hours, but no, I'm excited. It's just good teams. Both teams will be very good this year.
Yeah. Well, when I was talking with some of the basketball players recently, I mean, they talked about some of their favorite memories being with the team up at state. I mean, last year, I mean, that was some of their favorite Tiger memories as seniors. It's interesting because I mean, it is in many ways it's such an individual sport. You guys are kind of out there with the exception of the relays, but how important? And we'll start with you, Seth. How important is team chemistry? I mean, you're out there with relays, so obviously that's real important for you guys to be able to get along and do the things you need to do. But how important for you is team chemistry when you're out there?
You have to conform to the way track is. It's like a family out there once you get going. Once the season starts, everyone knows each other. We know our strengths and our weaknesses, and we have to rely on each other. Especially in the relays, like you said, we have to be able to read each other when we do handoffs. We have to know how fast they're coming in, and we really have to be strong. We can't have one person strong. The whole team has to be strong, mentally and physically.
And Riley, I got to think not only getting along, but there's sometimes a competition aspect within the team. You guys are working against each other a little bit to try to get you better. I mean, that'd be a way to say it as well.
Definitely. Every day at practice, there's always let's see who on the last throw. Let's see who can throw farther. And there's been a couple of times where it's been close between me and Santi, so that's been pushing me a lot. And so it's just kind of one of those prepping for when there is a competition. We'll be able to push ourselves past our previous competitions. So,
Cierra, I mean, how's that for you? I mean, you have some people that you obviously compete against, but you also get along real well with in terms of the throwing and the distance and things like that?
Definitely. I mean, track's an individual sport, but at the end of the day, we are a team. So I think it's really important for us as seniors to mentor some of the younger athletes out there so we can kind of pass the torch to them.
Well, speaking of the younger athletes, and we do have a freshman here, I mean, in terms of the seniors and the juniors, do you feel like you get that help from them in terms of certain things? I mean, you're running a lot of relays. Is that kind of camaraderie out there for you out there?
Yeah. The older people will push me more.
Okay.
Which helps me train, and
it's a positive. Are they? I mean, sometimes they can help give you tips and things like that. Maybe if there's something out there that they can help you out with.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Well, you guys are coming up on it. I mean, what do you said you obviously find out with the first track and field meet. What do you look for from the first meet of the season? Is it just trying to get everybody back into the swing of things and getting things going again? Is that really what you're looking for?
That's the biggest thing, because my philosophy, and I tell the kids all the time, maybe they get tired of me saying it, but I don't like holding their hands. I think at this age they're intelligent kids, and the expectation is high, and we train like that as well. Not everything has to be spoon-fed to them. So I look to see how they handle that environment, because there's a lot of distractions, tons of different teams out there, and they should know exactly when to warm up, what drills to do through the warm-up. Everything is exactly the same through training, and that's the way we structure our practices as well. Through the warm-up, they're given their warm-up plan. Every single one of the athletes has one. I don't need to say anything. They know what they have to do. And so I'm looking to see how they handle when other people really want to beat them. And, it's different than with your teammates in a training session. But when you got someone out there from Mayfield or Oñate who can't stand us because we have destroyed them constantly, they want to beat us as bad as they can. And so that is a different environment for the kids to handle, and I like to see how they do that. And that's the biggest thing in the first couple of meets is put them in that environment, test them, and let's see how they respond, because it's always a surprise. You have good and bad surprises. You have kids think, yes, he or she can handle an anchor leg in a 4x1. They get in the moment, and they either, you'll get a good surprise where you think, maybe I don't know if they're ready for that, and they perform well, and then sometimes you're like, man, I don't know, a little bit more, we're ready for that position. So, yeah, it's just about putting them in experiences and see how they handle it. So that's what we look for.
Yeah, and I was looking at the schedule. Everything's pretty much the same, but one addition, which I think is going to be real key. You guys are going up to Rio Rancho and the Cleveland meet here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we're excited about that. The way it worked out, so I'll try to make this quick. You have a deadline to get your qualifying meets in for the state track meet. Yeah. And they're all posted on the MA website. So I kept looking and say, okay, where's the Cruces High meet? Not on there. Try to get a hold of the coaches in Cruces. One in particular, like, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. They have a new coach. It's just, I'll just leave it at that. I won't say anything more. But they're like, I don't want to get these kids, take them to a meet and not have it be a state qualifying meet. So I called up Kenny Henry from Cleveland, who we get on pretty well, and I respect him very highly for what they've done at Cleveland and the boys track program. So I said, Kenny, I know the meet's closed because you let us in, and so he emailed me back, said, yeah, it's not a problem. We actually be glad to have you guys up here. And, because last year we did beat Cleveland twice quite handily. Just want to let everyone know that. So he may want to get a little revenge on us, but no, we're very excited to be up there. And it's a Friday meet, and I love Friday meets. It gives the kids it's exciting on a Friday, like Friday night football.
I was going to say, under the lights. I mean,
it is. The kids like it,
yeah.
And they also get good recovery time in the weekend, honestly. When you're at Saturday night, you get back late Saturday. Then you'll have that day or two to recover. So it's I love Friday meets. I think they just fit, and they fit in a good training plan. So that's why we got it. And I checked with Mr. Perry, and we have the buses available. So that is going to be pretty.
It's going to be a good competition because those Rio Rancho schools have been very good the last couple of years, haven't they?
Yeah, they have been. Like I said, Cleveland's dropped a little bit just the last 2 years on the boys. But before that, obviously, they were. Well, actually, I should say just last year, not 2 years ago, but because they won it 2 years ago. Volcano Vista won it last year, so that whole west side of Albuquerque is very strong. With Rio Rancho, we're state runners up. So, yeah, it's generally considered the best. Yeah. But we belong there. So
absolutely.
And so we're excited about that meet.
Well, I'm excited to see how the season goes. Good luck to all of y'all, and hope you have a great season. Thanks for coming by. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks
for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time,
no
and we'll see how the team does. Again, opening up the season, not this coming Friday, but the Friday after, as you'll be down...
27th, actually, Saturday, at Oñate. But all the meets there in Cruces at the Field of Dreams. So.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.